All right, folks, championship weekend is here. We're down to just 3 games left in this NFL season, and championship weekend feels a little bit different to me this year because for the first time in a while, we don't have Mahomes, we don't have Burrow, no Brady. For the long time, it's been one of these great quarterbacks who've been in kind of the spotlight of championship weekend, and this year just doesn't feel like we have that. And I wonder if the NFL is going through a little bit of a shift here where for a long time, the past 30 years really, it was always the best quarterbacks who were playing in the Super Bowl every single year. And I wonder if we're moving towards, with the salary cap and how such a high percentage of the salary cap that the quarterbacks take, if we're working towards a place where it's the younger quarterback, it's the reclamation projects, it's things like that who take up a lower percentage of the salary cap are starting to make the Super Bowl. Those teams just have a lot more dominant teams. They have a lot more money to spend on other players outside of quarterback. And when you look at the 4 quarterbacks right now, so right now, Stafford makes the most money out of the 4 at $48 million a year, which is a lot of money, but it's still much less than of a salary cap hit than Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, even Dak Prescott, and some of those players. So he's at a little bit of a discount. Sam Darnold's making $33.5 million. Again, a lot, but that's only 2/3 of what Mahomes, Dak, and Allen are making. If you look at Bo Nix, he's making $4.2 million this year, and Drake May's making $6 million. So these quarterbacks who are reclamation projects, they're younger quarterbacks, they're just taking up a lot smaller percentage of the salary cap than Allen, Mahomes, Dak, even Purdy, he's way up there as well. And they just have a lot more money to spend on other players, and their teams are just a lot more dominant. So I wonder if we're working back towards a spot where it's, hey, you got a younger quarterback, you got 3 to 4 years to really do something before you have to pay him, or you got a reclamation project like Sam Darnold. If those are the teams that are going to start rising to the top. And it's really interesting to me, and there's a lot of teams that I think could fall in this category here over the next 2 to 3 years. So let's take a look at the games. And I think this weekend is really unique because this is the first time in a while. I think the NFC Championship is the de facto Super Bowl. And when I look back throughout this year, I think looking back and reflecting on this, I think the Rams and Seahawks have probably been the best 2 teams all year long. And I think that they've both had a couple down weeks. They've had a couple rough stretches. But I think overall as a whole, these are the 2 best teams in the NFL. And I think the winner of the NFC Championship is going to win the Super Bowl. And I think they're going to win it fairly handily, but we'll get to that in a second. I'm going to start with the Patriots at Broncos, and I'm going to start by saying I'm going to take the Broncos plus 4.5, but I'm going to take the Patriots to win the game 17-14. And I think this is going to be a fairly sloppy, very defensive game. On one side, you have a very good defense in the Denver Broncos. They lead the league in sacks by a wide margin, going up against the Patriots offensive line that is very shaky. On the other side, you got Jared Stidham, a guy who has only thrown a handful of passes in the past 4 years, making his first start in several years, going up against a pretty underrated Patriots defense. I think there's going to be a lot of defense in this game. I think it's going to look pretty ugly. I think it's going to be very low scoring. I think I'm going to take the Patriots 17-14 in a very low scoring game. I think Denver is going to have a defensive touchdown somewhere in there really to keep this close. And I think the Denver defense is going to play really well, but I just don't think they're going to get enough points from Jared Stidham. And that's what I foresee the difference being. I'm going to take the Patriots to win 17-14, but I'm going to take the Broncos plus 4.5. Number 2. Like I said, I think this is the de facto Super Bowl, and there is a lot on the line from both of these quarterbacks. If you look at Sam Darnold, 2 years ago, he was a backup for the 49ers. 3 years ago, he was on the Carolina Panthers, and that was not going well at all. They didn't even want him back. And what a turnaround from a career to going from that to all of a sudden you're the first quarterback ever to win 14 games in 2 consecutive seasons, a chance at a Super Bowl, and just a complete 180 on a career. On the other side, you got Matt Stafford, who if he wins his Super Bowl, he's going to have 2 Super Bowls. He's going to be a no-doubt Hall of Famer. And now all of a sudden, he's got more Super Bowls than Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, Steve Young, and he's kind of on a short list with people with 2 Super Bowls. So such a huge game for both of these quarterbacks, a lot at stake. And I'm going to take the Seahawks minus 2.5 at home. I think the Seahawks are going to win. I think they're the best team in the NFL, and I think they're the most complete team in the NFL. And I think the Rams have a better quarterback. I think they have the best player player on the field with Puka Nacua, but this offense has had a lot of stretches in the last two games where they go long periods of the game where it seems like there's a lot of 3-and-outs and they just can't do anything. Now, they've come through late, but I think they're not going to be able to afford to do that against this Seahawks team. The Seahawks team can run the ball very well. They're very good on defense, and Sam Darnold, when he has to throw the ball, has been very competent. I think the Seahawks win this game. I hate the Charbonnet injury because I love their 1-2 combination at running back, but I think they'll overcome that, and I think the Seahawks will win, and I'm going to take the -2.5. So that's how I see championship weekend going. Can't wait to watch. We'll talk to everyone Sunday night, and hope you have a good weekend.